Why, welcome everybody to the Four Roads Out of Warba podcast with the Warba Shop Quartet. I am Bob, and I would like to introduce you to the rest of our folks here. In that beautiful Batman blue shirt, we have Doo-Doo.
Howdy.
In that awesome, nicely clean shaven hair cut, we have Bort down there. And we got the cool Tippy Tater alligator up there in the backwards hat, looking all awesome as usual. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, just fantastic. Excited. We're just going back to the old school roots of the podcast. So it'll be a little more of a just BS type session, which I'm looking forward to. So Matt and Tippy and Bort, how are you doing?
Doing well.
I'm doing great.
Good.
Just finished work and I head up north tomorrow, and yeah.
Oh, are you're coming up here?
Yes.
Cool. You should get with your aunt because I know she wants some pie ideas.
I gave her one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so how are you doing, Tippy? I kept cutting you off, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, doing okay. Just trying to get wrapped up here with what I'm currently doing and planning for future endeavors. So.
Oh, sounds awesome. When you done with that job up there?
Depends on what I want it to be at the end of the day, but I don't know if I'm going to go that route. Probably a few more weeks, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Maybe
Cool.
Definitely before Thanksgiving. So.
Cool. Yeah, so this one we're just kind of bringing out some Halloween vibes. It's coming up. Oh, go ahead, Doo-Doo.
How are you doing, Bob?
Oh, why, thank you. I'm doing well. A little disappointed. This will kind of spin into our discussions here. So after our podcast last week, that night, the brand new Halloween Ends movie came out. Now, I know you guys aren't big horror movie fans. I'm a gigantic Halloween Michael Myers fan. And this movie came out, and it was garbage. I am so upset that came out. And it was the 13th film in the series. Named Halloween Ends. Obviously, you know it's going to end, but the way they ended is so terrible and disrespectful to the rest of the franchise. That kind of put me in a non-Halloween mood, which kind of frustrated me. So this whole week I've been trying to get back in my Halloween spirit because I love Halloween.
Was it a dream?
You guys do the Halloween? What was that, Bort?
Was it all a dream sequence?
No, it was.
Oh, dang it.
Well, nobody watching this is gonna care. No, are you guys gonna watch the movie or not?
It was all in her head, wasn't it?
No.
Not after that bad review.
Well, no. So did anybody see the last Halloween movie, Halloween Kills?
No.
No.
Big shock. Well, at the end of the last one, he kills a bunch of people and then disappears. And then this one, 5 years later, he's been living in the sewer this whole time. And he's like this decrepit old man. And then some, 20-some-year-old kid gets possessed by him somehow and helps him kill people. And at the beginning, he, holds this guy down, like a wrestling move, like a tag team wrestler, holds him from behind. And Michael Myers grabs this knife. And he's like, ugh, and stabs him a couple times. And then he starts, remembering what it's like to kill, and he literally starts going and hulking up, like Michael Myers hulking, and then stabs a guy, and then that's how he comes out from living in the sewer for 5 years and almost dying to being a serial killer again. He hulks up by stabbing a guy. Terrible.
Sounds like my last date.
I don't even want to get into that then.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a little disappointing. But do you, Bort and Tippy, do you guys remember? Oh, I think I was probably 12. We rented Halloween 4 and watched over at your place, Tippy.
I do remember that.
Do you remember that, Bort?
Yeah, I was never big on slasher films, so I was like, ugh.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember, because that's my favorite Halloween of the franchise. And I just always remember I was young enough where I'm hanging out with my two cool, I got my older brother and my older cousin. I'm hanging out with them watching a horror movie. And I think I went to the bathroom probably 5 or 6 times during that movie because I was horrified during it. And I didn't want to, make you guys see it. So I kept going upstairs and seeing what your parents were doing and all that. And then I'd walk back down there and take a little break from it. Because that movie just horrified me. Did that affect you at all, or was I the only one?
Probably in that way. I'd seen a few at that time, and I was familiar with the Friday the 13th movies at that age, and yeah, it really didn't. But as far as I remember, I enjoyed it.
I don't remember much of the movie, but it reminds me of another story. The night our grandpa died.
Okay, no.
February 11th, 1998. Our father's ex-girlfriend, or his girlfriend at the time, took us to see a movie to get us out of the house while, Grandpa was there sick. And she took us to see the movie Titanic. There we go. And Bob had already seen the movie. And coincidentally, right before the nude scene, Bob disappeared and had to go to the bathroom and left me sitting there with my dad's ex-girlfriend at 15 years old.
I don't want to be weird. Yeah, no, I remember that was horrifying. I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch this with her. So I go to the bathroom. That was in the old Grand Rapids Theater, right?
Yes, it was.
Was that the last movie that we saw there? I don't think we saw any other ones after that. Because I remember
in the one in the strip mall there, or the little mall?
Yeah, mall at the Regal.
The mall, when they had that little 3-theater one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember me, Bort, and Tippy, we go see like Pearl Harbor, but that was at the new theater, right?
Yeah. I remember a movie we went and saw there.
I do too.
I think it was called In and Out.
I have that pulled up on Wikipedia right now.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Is that with that like gay senator or something like that?
I don't remember.
I think it was like something where like this guy ends up being gay or something, and that was like a big thing. What did we see in there, dude?
It's widely noted at the time for a 12-second kiss between Kevin Kline and Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck?
Hell, I'd kiss that.
Oh yeah. Dude, what movie did we see there?
The first Ninja Turtle movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where we sat like right up at the front? Or not?
I don't remember.
How can you not remember? It was only in 1990.
Well, I'm surprised you don't have the exact date.
I remember though
everything.
We
Came
were
out in October 1990.
Turtles we were going to be.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. I was Leonardo. You were Donatello, right? You were Donatello, right? Then Bort, you were Michelangelo. My dad was Raphael, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually dress up, or are you just
in our minds?
That was your own alter egos.
Well, to transition back to Halloween stuff, this was the one story I wanted to share. Was this story, the following, no, it would have been October 1990. So we were in the cities for the first time for Halloween, and I wanted to be Michelangelo really, really badly. And so Mom actually painted my face green, got me green sweatshirts and sweatpants and an orange mask, and she made a cardboard box into a shape of a turtle shell, and I thought it was a cool thing. She even made me nunchucks, which I don't know why I ever lost those. She made me nunchucks, and I thought it was
head.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And it's so funny, that's the one Halloween thing that I remember more than anything else is that outfit. And I just recently told Mom, was bragging about it, how awesome it was. And she just kind of looked down, kind of sad. And she goes, I was so broke that year for Halloween. I couldn't afford anything, and I felt embarrassed sending you out wearing a cardboard box as a turtle shell, just trying to piecemeal this outfit together. And I thought, to that day, I'd always thought it was the greatest Halloween outfit I'd ever gotten, and here that for that entire time, my mom felt embarrassed about it, and it made me feel so sad because it was such a treasured memory for me, and yet one that she didn't, and it's so I tried to tell her some 30 years later how much that Halloween outfit meant to me.
Did you put her mind to ease then?
I hope so.
Cool.
Well, that's better. My most depressing costume, I got to dress up as an orphan, and Ma took you out trick-or-treating and left me at home. I'm kidding. That did not happen.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Dudu.
What is today? What's the date today?
20th.
According to this here thing on my phone, probably can't read it real well, so there's a movie coming out that I cannot wait to see. It is called Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Mm-hmm.
And according to this, a possible release date of October 20th, so today, but I don't think that's going to happen. But basically, Christopher Robin leaves all the Pooh characters to fend for themselves, and they revert back to their wild selves and kill people and things for food. They one of the scenes they've showed preview on YouTube is Pooh standing behind a grave marker that says Eeyore on it. So,
dude, I want to see that so bad.
I can't wait to see this movie. I like slasher movies. I like dumb ones like that Santa Claus one that was out here.
With Goldberg?
No.
Krampus?
Okay. I like Krampus.
Mm-hmm. Not as good as Goldberg's Santa's Sleigh. Have you ever see Tippy or Bort? You guys see that one?
No.
Highly recommended. It's probably the best Christmas movie besides Die Hard out there.
What about I can't remember the name of the movie. I think it's called Nightmare on Christmas or something. Have you ever heard of or seen the meme Garbage Day?
Mm-mm. Oh wait, yes.
Yeah, Garbage Day, and then
Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
That's the one. Part 2.
Yeah, that one's Part 2. Garbage Day. No. Have you seen the actual movie?
No. Just seeing Garbage Day is good enough for.
Well, it's funny. So that movie, they made a first one, and then the second one, they had like no money for a budget, so they replayed like the first half of the movie with that guy in a mental institution to pad the running time. Then they filmed like 45 minutes of him doing that stuff to get a movie made.
You said that was the greatest movie besides Die Hard? What
Christmas
about
movie.
Christmas Story? Great
That's
movie.
good.
Great
Oh,
movie.
it's good. But if Ralphie had a machine gun, that would be better.
This time of year, yeah.
Did you see
There is
there's
a sequel
to
coming
that?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a sequel coming out.
Mhm.
What's up, Tibby?
Oh, I was wondering if we could revert back to Halloween from Christmas.
Wait. How about Ralphie with a machete dressed in the pink bunny suit, running around killing all them school people?
On
Maybe
Easter.
it could be Pooh's sidekick.
Cool.
All right, what about something I was thinking about? The winter or Halloween blizzard of 91. Go ahead.
That was on my list, but there was something I was itching to talk about. Playing off on Bort's last story.
Okay, go nuts.
Yep. The exact same year, 1990, in second grade, I myself had a homemade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles costume. I was leading out of however, and how my costume went was I had like a green Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sweatpants and a TMNT sweatshirt, which I'm pretty sure I wore to school at least once a week in that era of my life. And so that was like my green base layer. And then my mom also made me a turtle shell out of like kind of like the front plate and the back plate, and it was held together by some straps. And then I made my own found some like blue cloth in my mom's like a scrap drawer for sewing, and like made wristbands and the bandana and everything. Then I'm pretty sure I made my own swords out of cardboard, and Dad spray painted the shell. So that was also one of my favorite Halloween costumes of all time. And in fact, pretty much every single Halloween costume I ever had has been homemade.
Very cool.
I wanted to tell the story about one of my favorite ones was when I was in first grade, I was a robot. And that was back when we could wear our Halloween costumes to school.
Mhm.
It was Halloween on a weekday or a school day.
Mm-hmm.
And how this one was, my mom sewed like this, like, it was like a silver reflective material, and kind of made some like pants, leggings, and some like arm sleeves. And then I had this, it's probably like a vacuum cleaner box or something that was covered in tin foil, and had a few reflectors glued to it. And then the box, or for the head, was just basically a box. Same thing, holes cut out of it. I think a coat hanger sticking up through there. And the thing is, when I had that on, I could not sit down in a seat. So I got to stand all day at my desk.
Tippy, where did you go trick-or-treating? You like lived out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, well, we had our few neighbors that we went to, but then we'd go to town too.
Okay. Yeah, what was your most memorable costume, Doodoo?
Little Orphan Annie once. No, I just kidding. I don't really know. I don't remember like you guys do. You guys have impressive memories.
How about from your LARPing days?
Huh?
What about from your LARPing days?
Oh, interface?
Your live action role playing days.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were some that you had from there?
Well, I was going to say my mom has a picture in her bedroom of she had her and her friend had bought like old trashy clothes and dressed me up as a hobo, complete with the stick and the little kerchief bag. I was probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5. It was just cute. I was so cute. Well, yeah, from the interface days, yeah, we were dwarves and Yeah, it was mainly a dwarf. I'm a big dwarf fan for that kind of stuff. Anyways, but one year I was still driving trucks, so I brought my semi down to Afton State Park, and we that blue Mac that I had, and we put cardboard around it and pretended it was our ship. So all six of us, we would camp together as dwarves. We would take that thing around during the day. We'd drive around the inner circle in my semi truck, and they would they'd be on the back and on the steps, and then I'd be driving, and we'd bail off and go pretend we're raiding this island or something, and we get back on the truck or our boat and we go to the next place, and that was fun.
Didn't you really mess your knee up one time playing that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Me and a buddy we were having a drinking contest as dwarves.
Of course.
And he started in with some insults, and I started in with some insults, and next thing you know, there was just this huge group of people watching us, and we were role playing this bar fight thing, and he pushed a little too hard, and I went to go backwards, and I tripped over this bar thing that we had, and I screwed my knee up pretty bad, but it was fun.
Did you finish the game?
Oh yeah.
Did you win the drinking contest?
No.
Did you stay in character?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the last for trick or treating? How old were you guys when you stopped going? Do you remember?
Last year.
7th grade.
I think I was like 13, maybe.
No
But I'm not.
Either 12 or 13. Remember when I was 12, I was Brandon Lee from The Crow.
Oh yeah. Was that before
It was
he
the
got killed?
easiest costume in the world. All I did was wear black sweatpants and a sweatshirt and then paint my face. That was it.
Did you
I
put a
felt-
bullet hole in your chest?
Oh.
Hey, I was wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. I wasn't gonna get that detailed.
Oh, that was a good one.
I remember one quick story. I remember more of like my niece's Halloweens than I do my own, but the oldest one, one year she dressed up as a lion, and it was so cute because she's got this big mane of fake hair and in the lion outfit, and she'd go on her hands and feet right up to the door and look at the instead of trick or treating, she'd go roar, and oh yeah, that was pretty cute.
I remember
You took that. You did that the year before.
In a Sasquatch suit, yeah.
Yes. Oh, what's up, Tibby?
Piggybacking off of niece and nephews, like for one of my, or just before one of my nephew's first Halloweens, he was probably coming up on 2 years old or something like that, but I mean, he really hadn't had his first haircut, and he's got this wild red hair that's growing really long. I told my sister, you have to dress him up as Chucky from Child's Play for Halloween, or even Chucky with Rugrats, both from Rugrats, both would be really adorable,
Or Killer Chucky from Rugrats.
Yeah, she didn't heed my advice, but
Dude, that missed opportunity.
So.
And if you're listening, missed opportunity. So where were you guys at during the blizzard of 91?
Grand Rapids.
Cities.
Crosby, Ironton.
Yeah, was there a lot of trick-or-treaters up in Crosby that night, or don't you remember?
I remember it snowing. We definitely got more snow overnight than earlier on, but I can't remember if it had to be cut short or not. But I'm pretty positive school was at least delayed the next day, if not canceled. So it gave out me time to eat candy all day, So
I think Bort, you remember it probably better than I do.
Okay, so I'm convinced that there's only been one photograph ever taken of that blizzard. It's the one that pops up on Facebook every year.
Yep.
I do not think another photograph exists. It's that one black and white photograph. In terms of memory of that, did that blizzard even hit up in Rapids?
Yeah, we were up there. We were trick or treating with Uncle Dave, weren't we?
Really? I have no memory
Was
of
it Dad and Uncle Dave, I thought, came out with us?
I have no clue. I have no memory of trick or treating that year.
I thought we did. I thought it was Dad and Uncle Dave we trick or treated with. I could be wrong, but
I have two memories from that one. October.
I think you're right, Bob, because I remember your dad talking about you guys, Uncle Dave and yourself and himself taking you two out trick or treating that year.
mm-hmm.
I'll let Jason finish here in a second, but during that snowstorm that year, I was down in North St. Paul, and me and a buddy of mine were pushing cars out of the parking lot so they could plow, and there was so much snow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a ton of snow. Sorry, Bort, I stole your show there.
No. I mean, I was just saying I have two specific memories from October of '91. Neither of them deal with Halloween, though, so I can tell them if you want.
I would love to hear them.
Okay. Well, the first was every night, I was following the Twins winning the World Series. I remember we watched Game 6 over at Grandma Schroeder's house, and we were too busy playing to see Kirby hit the home run. Or we might have been in the room. I can't remember, but we were playing a lot of the time.
I remember I was laying on Grandpa's chair when he hit that home run.
So we must have been, but we were playing in and out then, But yeah, Game 7, I remember Mom wouldn't let me stay up to watch it, and so she taped it.
Me neither. And same thing.
She taped it. I watched that videotape, the VHS tape of the game, so many times.
I know we did.
That was such a fun ball game. So it's still a very brilliant baseball game to watch. It's not just the 10th inning. There's so many good plays in that game, including Brian Harper nearly bunting for a double in the 9th inning. That was cool.
Sure, he was really fast too, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Best catcher ever. Did I ever tell you guys the Untouchables story?
I
did. Okay. Well, that one's from October '91. The one where I was traumatized by the scene of Sean Connery shooting the dead guy in the mouth. That was in the same month. I think it was like after like a Sunday night ball game, and Mom wasn't in the room, and I walked out, and that movie was playing on CBS afterwards, and yeah, that traumatized me pretty good.
Yeah, that VHS. I remember we watched that we had that other baseball, like greatest hits from like the late '80s that we watched all the time too. Do you remember that one?
Like a blooper video.
Yeah, I remember. If I knew you were coming, I'd bake the cake. That song was on there. We just watched that and then that dinosaurs video too. I remember we watched a lot too.
Yep.
What's up, Doodoo?
Halloween podcast.
We're talking about October.
Indeed. Actually, before the call came up, I was on the Halloween 1991 Storm Wikipedia site, and there's some interesting facts on here.
Yeah?
Read them.
Yeah. Enlighten us.
Here, I'm just going to read the first paragraph here. 1991 Halloween blizzard developed from a strong Arctic cold front that pushed south and east through the central United States several days prior. On October 28th, temperatures to the east of the cold front were above normal. High temperatures reached into their 70s from the middle Mississippi River Valley south to northern Texas, and then into the 80s across most of central southern Texas. Meanwhile, high temperatures remained below 20 degrees Fahrenheit across most of Montana and Wyoming. Then by the, I mean, it was just basically like the perfect storm, they're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also categorized as an extratropical cyclone, blizzard, Gulf low / ice storm. And then there's actually a chart here of how much snowfall Minnesota got and where the most snowfall. So like where I was in Crow Wing County, it says, I mean, we're like right on that line, about 1.5 to 2 feet. But like Grand Rapids is a little more to the north and east, which was the area that was hit the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
And,
What about the cities?
And 22 people actually died during the storm.
Hmm.
And there were 100,000 power outages and $100 million in damage as of 2005 US dollars.
Well,
That was a storm. I remember it.
I think people were giving a lot of candy out that year too, because there weren't many people walking around. I always liked going trick or treating when it was like crappy out, because then not many other people went. You got a lot of stuff. Or if you go towards the end of the day and people don't have, not many people coming out, they start shoveling candies in your in your pillowcase, and
It's kind of like sitting at the end of a parade route.
Yep.
You get all the candy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some parades you do. Other parades you get nothing. My Woodbury parade every year you don't get anything on the end of the parade route. They walk up and hand you one Tootsie Roll for 3 kids. I'm not exaggerating.
You can't say that about Bovee.
No, Bovee's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't been to that parade in years. I think when Grandpa pulled us on that trailer when we were in the youth center for Bovee, I think that's the last time I was at it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've went the last 2 years. Good time.
Very good time.
I went there one night about 7-8 years ago. I met Dad there I was going up north for the weekend. I think it was for hunting or something, and he was over there at one of the bars. And me and him sang "Walk the Line," Johnny Cash for karaoke.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't good, so yeah. So yeah, the '91 blizzard that always kind of sticks out in my mind for a Halloween thing, just because around here. Have you guys ever had any moment like, I don't know, the Halloween vibes have like creeped you out or something like that, or not?
Yeah.
What was that?
I for a couple of years I worked at a convenience store overnights, and up here in Rapids, and there was some friends of mine that knew I was going to be there, and I remember, I think I was mopping the floors or something, and I looked out the front window and they were all standing and on the outside looking inside with their creepy masks and all that stuff, and they were just staring at me. Yeah, that gave me the heebie-jeebies for a while. But probably the most scariest thing I've ever seen on Halloween is that time when Bob dressed up as Fred from Scooby-Doo. Yeah, no.
What was wrong with that? I look fantastic.
Do you guys remember that thing that went on for a while with those clowns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
There was one of them in Rapids, and he would just stand out in random corners along Highway 2 there and just look at stuff. And
Well, that was when I was doing the school resource officer stuff at a middle school during that. Oh my God, all these, having to deal with kids and the staff, the clown issues all over the place, and it's like, oh my God. The clown issues, yeah.
I wish that would have never ended.
Yeah, no kidding. People in the cities just can't take a joke.
I know. Yeah, do you guys see those It movies, the ones about the clown in the sewer and all that?
Yep.
I
See,
have not.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah. Didn't you
it
read
was
the
all
book?
right, but it just doesn't do justice to the book. If you've read the book, it's
The book's great, except
it's a trip.
the
It's
book's
a
great
trip.
except the last like hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some stuff in there that I would have rather not have read.
I've read it like 3 times, and the first time I read that last hour, then I skipped it the last 2. I'm like, yeah,
It's
it's
hard to believe it was published.
I've never heard a book described in a period of time like that.
Don't read that part.
well,
Is
it's
it gory or what? I mean,
No.
don't say. But
no, it's pretty much. Well, I'll say it's a bunch of 12-year-old kids have an orgy in the sewers.
probably don't need to read about that.
No, it's terrible. I'm like, what the hell? And Stephen King's like, well, it was to signify them being kids to adults. Like, no, that's just awful. So, yeah,
That was at the end of the book?
after they killed the clown, then they're like, hey, this seems like a good idea.
It really does come out of nowhere.
I know.
I thought it was in the middle, and then they became adults or something like that. And
So the book's written at the same time, like as adults and kids. It's written kind of together, and sometimes they'll jump ahead, sometimes they'll jump back. So at the end of the book, they have, the time they beat Pennywise as teenagers, and then times they beat him as an adult. But then after that, then they threw that in there, and I'm like, ugh, just out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is uncomfortable. So, yeah,
Speaking of that underage kind of stuff, I watched a movie last night that had this is a bad segue.
I
Sorry,
think I'm gonna.
yeah, it's horrible.
but
Yeah, did we get off Halloween subject a little bit?
well, no, I want to say this. See if you guys have seen it. It had Joaquin Phoenix in it. It was called "You Were Never Really There." Have you seen it at all? It's about he's a vet that comes back, and he gets himself a ball peen hammer, and he rescues young girls that have been sex trafficked. And great. I mean, they could have made it so much like a Rambo movie. It was so good. But then they went into the how do you say that word?
Psychological.
Yeah. Parts about whether he thought, he would matter if he was there or not. And it wasn't what I thought it was, but it was an okay movie.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix, he's pretty good. He really embraces all the roles he takes. Like he did that Johnny Cash role, like learned to sing like Johnny Cash for it, and that Joker movie. He's doing another Joker movie too with Lady Gaga. It's gonna be like a musical. So that's gonna happen.
So that's
the last musical I saw was what was it called? The one with Johnny Depp.
Sweeney Todd.
Yes. And yeah, the guy from Die Hard was in it too.
Yep. The villain, right?
Yeah. Yep. I can't ever remember that guy's name.
Yeah, no, Sweeney Todd. I saw where the hell me and Shell watch it? We watched it somewhere. We made it about halfway through, and we're like, I can't do a barber singing, slashing people's throats. This is too weird.
And turning them into meat pies.
Well, him and that Johnny Depp, was that a Tim Burton movie, I'm assuming?
Of course.
And then that girl, I forget her name, but it's like those three are in like every movie together. It's that same girl that was in Fight Club.
Keira Knightley?
No, Helena something. What's her
She looks
name?
half dead in every movie she's in, so.
Yeah.
And Sacha Baron Cohen was in there too, Rat.
Sasha was?
Hmm.
Helena Bonham Carter and Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman, of course.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, okay.
Didn't he die like 5 years ago or so?
I don't think it was even 5 years ago. It was recent, wasn't it? No, oh my gosh, you're right, Bob. 2016.
6
Wow.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time flies.
Screwed that up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, do you guys ever watch that's way too off topic. Never mind. Well, no, I was gonna ask about Everybody Loves Raymond, so that's a little bit off topic.
A little bit.
And let's talk about their Halloween show.
They didn't have Halloween episodes.
All right.
One show that had really good Halloween episodes. You guys ever watch Brooklyn
Simpsons.
Nine-Nine?
Yes.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Simpsons. I've never watched a Simpsons one, but I hear they're good.
Treehouse of Horror, bud. Especially
Yeah.
from the 90s.
Are those all on Disney Plus, the Treehouse ones?
Well, the entire 30-year run of The Simpsons is on Disney Plus.
Well, I know. I like good shows, so I don't watch it, but I might watch the Treehouse of Horror ones. Well, Tippy, are you a Simpsons guy?
Used to be.
What about you, Doodoo?
Used to be.
Well, nobody's a Simpsons guy nowadays. When anybody talks about The Simpsons, it's always about the first 10 years.
Mhm. Kind of like Saturday Night Live. You just talk about the good ones in the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
Yes.
can throw a good joke out here and there, but
Mhm.
Yeah. There any so getting back to the Halloween type stuff. So I know you guys don't like slasher movies. What kind of you gotta like some kind of scary movies, like psychological horrors or something like that. Like if you had to pick a horror movie that you had to recommend to somebody, like this is my kind of horror movie I like, what would it be?
Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Hocus
Why is
Pocus.
that?
I
Shut up, Doodoo.
I just love that movie. That's like nearly the perfect horror movie for me. It builds the entire time, to a big climax, and then it doesn't. You're left to think afterwards.
yeah,
It's an
there's
open
so many
interpretation.
questions you have.
Yep. And the more I watch it, the more I enjoy it, especially as I get older, I enjoy, nature more. So just seeing all the stuff in the woods and, it almost relaxes me in spite of the tension building up through it.
They did
And
such a good job in the marketing too, because everybody thought that was real. Like, oh my God, they're dead out in the woods, and
Well,
they did
especially
such a good
15-year-old
job.
kid going in to see it in the theater for the first time, or was that 16? I don't know.
It was 99, so you'd have been 16.
16. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember you told me about it. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could see that. That might be too scary, And I liked it but I didn't see it until probably 10 years ago. That was the first time I actually sat and watched it.
And I thought not the first sequel they did, but the second one they did a couple years ago was pretty good too. I only seen it once, but I liked it.
I liked it. It kept kind of the same creepy vibe. I like that they actually gave you a little peek to see the witch for a half a second. So that was cool. What about you, Doodoo? You have any horror movie that sticks out besides Hocus Pocus?
When I was a younger lad, I remember my mom and, for lack of better terms, I'll use stepdad and stepsister were watching The Omen and Omen 2. Those are very good. And I wasn't really allowed to watch them, but I kept running in and running out, So yeah, I remember I got to see where he got run over by a cab over truck, and then he bounced back up. That was pretty cool. And then we watched Psycho in school. I remember.
Cool.
School, yeah. Watched Psycho in school.
Wow.
And then probably the scaredest I've ever been at a movie, and I think I brought this up on another podcast, was when you had me watch Paranormal Activity. That stuck with me for a long time. Good movie though.
Oh, dude, I played it. I will say I played that off pretty good. Because, yeah, I had him sold. It was completely a true story. Completely sold. It was a true story.
Yeah, it was freaky. Good though.
Yep.
And then a
Tippy,
year
I think
later,
you're. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, dude.
well, I was just saying, then a couple years later, I'm running around with Bruce and we're running in haunted houses. Doing that.
Yeah.
But
Tippy, you seem like you'd be more of a psychological horror type person.
me?
I would
Oh,
say
Tippy.
cosmic horror.
Okay.
Movies like Event Horizon and The Mist, like that fear of the unknown type of element, you know.
Mhm.
The Thing is always a good classic one.
Oh,
And even more recently, I'd seen A Quiet Place. And you can I think you could kind of lump that in with cosmic horror thing, you know, with you really don't get to see the monsters, you know, up until, you know, everything starts, you know, until attention gets built up towards the end. You know?
Mhm.
And then
So
you're
did
still
you watch?
really left with questions like, where did these things come from? How did they get here? They really don't tell you. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, eventually they made a sequel where you kind of find that out, but I haven't seen the sequel yet. But
It's all right.
Did you watch? What was that? Cloverfield, about the big monster.
I
That was
haven't, but I just randomly came across a YouTube video lately. It was kind of like an explanation of Cloverfield, and I didn't watch the whole video because I actually do want to see this movie.
yeah, it's good. It's well worth.
Okay, yeah, you could lump this into cosmic horror here too. You know,
There's a. Did you guys see that? There's Cloverfield, and then there's it's like a spin-off sequel to Cloverfield.
I think
That's
there's a
Cloverfield
series
John
that-
Goodman.
like
Huh?
a mini, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
That's
one
John-
Cloverfield Lane or something.
Yeah,
Is that with
something like-
John Goodman?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, yep. I have not
that
seen.
one. That is a fantastic movie. He is just amazing in that one.
He's a good actor all around.
Yep.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
they did a third one on Netflix, Cloverfield Paradox. I never watched that one. I heard it was all right, but I just never got around to watching it.
Tippy, watch Cloverfield and give us a review next week.
Another good recent horror movie, if you guys want to. I don't know if you want to, but Hereditary. I don't know. Have you guys heard of it? Okay. It's from like 2018, I think it is. I'm not really a big fan of the new horror movies, but that's a really, really good one. So if you want a recommendation from good old Bob here, take a look at that one. Because I'm more of a slasher guy than 80s horror. I could every day just watch them. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, all those guys. Constantly, I just watch those movies every day.
Remember this when Bob kills his whole family this winter.
That's Shining. Yeah. Sequel to The Shining.
We'll be playing this in memoriam here in about 3 months.
Yeah. But no, I've always just loved
Do
horror
not
movies.
send Bob a typewriter.
We'll be like, all the warning signs were there.
Yes.
Oh, Misery. That was a good one. I like Misery.
Yes. Yep.
What about
Hey, dude, did you read any of the Stephen King books or listen to audiobooks or anything?
Stephen King. Didn't he do The Mist?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I read that book, and then The Gunslinger, that trilogy. Carrie. What?
There's 7 books. Well, actually 8.
There's 8 books now in that?
Well, the
Oh,
Dark
okay.
Tower series is 7 books, and then there's The Wind in the Keyhole, which came out after the series was finished.
Really? Okay, well, I've been under a rock or something. All right, well, I got some reading to do.
Yeah, your next 6 months just got taken up.
Yeah. Carrie, Christine, all the classic old ones.
Heck yeah.
Now you say you've read The Mist. Have you seen the movie?
Oh
The
yeah.
Mist. Okay.
Yep.
I think we all watched that together once.
I think
I
we
mean,
did too.
due to me and Bob at my dad's house.
The ending of that movie is by far the most messed up ending I've ever seen in a movie. And what I like about it is it was made just for the movie. It wasn't in the book, I guess. I haven't read the book, but that's what I hear. And Stephen King, I guess, was really impressed with the ending too, and he liked it and approved it.
I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember if it's actually a full book
don't-
or if it was short stories.
I think it's one of his short stories.
'Cause I've read a few of his short story collections, but I do not know if that was in one of them.
That was a short story. Some of his short stories are just, like Shawshank Redemption. That's a short story, and that turned into one of the greatest movies ever.
A lot of his short stories have turned into movies.
Mm-hmm. Doo-doo.
You have my mind so messed up here, Tippy, with that trilogy information or series information. You said there's 7 books.
Yep.
In the Dark Tower.
Yep. First, there's the Gunslinger, then the Drawing of Three, then
Yep.
the Wastelands. Then
That's the
Wisdom-
last one I read.
The Wasteland. Okay, yep. So you read the first 3. Then after that, it's Wizarding Glass, and then after that, it's Wolves of Kala. Then number 6 is the Song of Susanna, and number 7 is the Dark Tower.
Okay.
And those are more mystical type books, right?
Well, it's a combination of a lot of stuff. It's kind of like horror, science fiction, spaghetti western.
Westerns, yep.
I mean, it just runs the gambit.
And that's what that movie was, what, a year or 2 ago with
Oh,
Idris Elba. I never saw it, but I heard it was not.
I nearly walked out. You can't fit 7 novels into an hour and a half.
No.
movie.
That's what they
It
tried
was-
to do with that movie.
Yes.
So they got like one piece from each book to maybe throw into it.
I don't even know if there was one piece from each book. I was just so perturbed at the fact that how are you trying to do this? I mean, you got your characters, like none of it actually makes sense. I mean, it's just like a short story fan fiction almost. Like,
because I recognize the characters, and that's, I suppose from only reading the first 3 books, but I'm watching it and going, wait a minute, I don't remember any of this. 'Cause
That
I
makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other movies that you guys almost walked out of?
Titanic.
Superman Returns.
You almost walked out of that?
Superman Returns.
Why?
Yeah.
Just
When
it
the
was
kid played the piano at Kevin Spacey. Like, I'm done.
Well, you're Superman's kid.
Yeah, I'm done.
It wasn't that Kevin Spacey. It was one of his thugs, I think.
No, it was Kevin Spacey, wasn't it?
No, it was one of his thugs. Because it killed him. Would have killed Kevin Spacey.
Would have done the world a favor, but
Well, you were saying something, Tippy. What are ones you walk out of?
oh no, the only movie I actually do remember walking out of was Bruno.
Yeah.
One of Sacha Baron Cohen's characters.
Mm-hmm.
I was never a big fan of Ollie G. Well, maybe as like HBO or whatever show. I mean, that was pretty funny when I was younger. And but at the time I loved Borat. I love that character. And then he's got this other character, Bruno. And I can't even remember what the movie was about. It just didn't hold my interest. I'm like, okay, I got better things to do.
Didn't he have another one, like an Emperor or something like that he came out with?
The Dictator, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I was in my early 20s, so I doubt I'd find that humor.
Well, I remember I saw one preview to that Emperor movie or the Dictator movie. He was like running, he's a dictator of some country where he's like a Saddam Hussein type guy. And it was a race, and he was running in this race, and he had a gun, and everybody was ahead of him. He just kept shooting, and then he'd get past him and win.
I mean, yeah, it would go with the Dictator theme, I guess. But
Yep.
I
What would you do?
wasn't even aware of that movie until after it came out.
Yeah. What about you, Dudu?
Bad Grandpa. With what's his name? Johnny
Robert.
Knox.
Wasn't that Robert De Niro or?
Are you talking about Bad Santa?
No, Bad
Nobody
Grandpa.
would walk out in Bad Santa. That movie.
You could not walk over. Bad
Huh?
Grandpa was decent with Robert De Niro. I thought.
No, that one with Johnny Knoxville, where he dressed up as a grandpa.
Oh, yep.
Old guy.
Johnny Knox,
Oh,
Bad Grandpa. Yep.
Bad Grandpa.
oh, you
I
walked
know
out of
what I'm
that?
talking about. Yeah, it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
It was kind of, it had its moments.
You asked me. I said that one.
I didn't even have to go through the trouble because when that came out, I'm like, okay, there's one movie I will never see.
Yeah. Good thinking. It's horrible.
It was one of those things where it was funny in a skit or two, but making a whole movie out of it, I think, was a little too much.
You didn't even know what movie I was talking about at first. You have no opinion.
Hey, Bort, there's got to be a. Well, I'll look it up.
No, I'm looking it up right now, Bob.
Robert De Niro,
Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa. Okay,
Oh yeah, bad and dirty. They sound alike. Yeah.
but Grandpa is the same word.
Yeah,
Okay, guys, what's your favorite movie that involves the word grandpa?
I can't talk about that in this podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like a different bad grandpa. Or a different dirty grandpa. Oh.
You guys remember in the production
going
meeting?
from Bad Grandpa to Dirty Grandpa just makes it even worse.
Kind of gives a new meaning to the word slasher film.
You remember in the original production meeting we had before episode 1, Bob's like, okay, guys, let's keep this clean because I want to show it to our kids someday.
Well, they can skip over that part.
It's still PG-13.
Yes.
In
Yep.
the 80s, it would be totally PG.
Mm-hmm.
It would.
Yeah. No, I mean, I really don't have much. I was just kind of going more of a Halloween vibe, a Halloween feel type of thing. What we got, doo-doo?
I just want to state, if you guys can see our buddy family member Bort there. Oh no, go back to the way it was. I was
Okay,
going to say for Halloween, it looks like he is surrounded by ghostly spirit orbs.
I know.
Doesn't it? It looks.
Still working on my lighting problems here.
I think
Do you have that new microphone hooked up?
No, I don't have the microphone hooked up yet. I can't get this thing figured out at all.
I can share a story. Can I share a story about ghost hunting days?
Yes.
We this lady invited us into her house because supposedly there was a woman that was haunting her house. So me and the guy that I did it with, it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. We went into her bedroom, the lady's bedroom, and he sat on the floor and I sat on the bed, and I said, is there anybody, in here that would like to talk to us? We had mics or recorders. And then I said, if so, and you want to relax a little bit, why don't you sit down next to me? And I'll be darned if the bed didn't move. And I said, dude, did you do that? And he goes, no. And here he would moved, and he was across the over by the closet. And then later on when we were playing it back, you could hear after I said, is there anybody that would like to say anything to us? You hear a woman's voice say, may I sit down? It was the weirdest thing ever.
Wow.
So,
Little.
Indeed. I would be.
yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead, Bort. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to mention the greatest Halloween film of all time. Batman Forever.
I disagree because I think it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Why do you think Batman Forever? Because that's one scene where they're in a costume contest, or what?
No, the end of the movie is all during Halloween.
Yeah.
So Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
No, I'm like, but Die Hard's a good movie. Batman Forever is garbage.
I liked it.
You would.
Ernest Scared Stupid's amazing too.
Oh, Ernest Scared Stupid is
there
one of
we go. Yes.
I love that movie.
No way. You seen that, doo-doo?
Which one?
Ernest Scared Stupid?
Oh yeah, I've seen them all. Ernest
I
P.
remember-
Worrell.
I remember seeing that in the theaters. It was me, my dad, and my little brother. At that time, he would have only been going on 3 years old, probably.
Oh, I bet those trolls terrified him.
No, I was more terrified than he was. He was laughing. I remember the one scene where the kid was falling into a mud pit and hears his friend's voice say, "Grab my hand." And then you see the troll's face and he's laughing at him. That scared me out of my mind. But my little brother, he was just laughing up a storm. And then when we got home, he'd say, "Monster milk, monster milk." You know.
I cried a little.
What are you talking about? It's Miak.
I was just gonna say, do you remember how he wanted to defeat him?
Well, he
with
was
the
more
goat
literate than Ernest was.
Wasn't in season. Tough to find, you know.
I teared up a little bit when Jim Varney died.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the middle of making Ernest is a Pirate when he died. And there's been no footage of that movie ever released.
It would have been good.
Ernest can really do anything. There was an old Simpsons episode where Bart's walking out of the theater holding his gut laughing, and on the sign you can see Ernest needs a kidney.
Well, do you remember in how good he was as the villain in Ernest Goes to Jail?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was awesome as a villain. I mean, that was just Ernest.
But I think he's one of those guys who kind of got typecast to be that character. Because if you pulled up some drama movie or something like that, and all of a sudden you get, and it's Ernest P. Worrell, I don't think you'd get many. You'd get more people laughing at you. So I think he was kind of stuck to be Ernest. He wouldn't have been cast for anything else, really.
You guys got a favorite Ernest scene over the years?
I think my favorite's got to be the opening of Ernest Rides Again, that music video.
That's good.
And Worrell. Yeah, that whole music video scene was, or the opening scene for Scared Stupid, the monster one, where that all the monster clips are on there.
Yep.
I think mine's from Ernest Goes to Jail, the pen scene in the courthouse.
Yeah. Yep. How about you, Tippy?
I haven't seen like Ernest Goes to Camp or Ernest Goes to Jail or like in so long. Like I honestly can't remember the synopsis of the movies. You know, definitely remember Eggs Erroneous. You know, that is one of my favorite words.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, how could you make eggs erroneous? You know, I'm sure somebody's done it before, but you know, I'm a big fan of cooking breakfast dishes, you know, but of course I'm going to make something that's palatable, you know. So I want to, you know, have an awesome breakfast creation, but just name it eggs erroneous.
Well, when you do,
but
I will be.
Maybe it looks terrible, but it actually tastes great, you know.
I'll be a test subject.
Well, that's scary. All right. Well, it's starting to get pretty dark where I'm out here, guys. So, got my little creepy vibe here. Ooh.
Watch out in the back seat.
Yeah.
How terrified you be all of a sudden you see something creeping up? Ah!
There was one of your, I think it was Brian was Brian or Andrew standing behind you at one point, looking in through the back of the vehicle.
They're not here. Ooh. So, all right. Well, I don't got anything else this week, guys. I thought more of a BS session would have been good. Do you guys got anything else?
Yeah, I took a guy to get his cat neutered, brought him home, and then is that gonna show? And in his yard, he got sick of people running over turtles in the road, so he put slow turtle crossing. I thought that was pretty cool, so I'd take a picture of it.
Yes, you definitely get to meet a lot of interesting people.
Thanks, Bob. This is a good episode.
Thanks. Good, thanks, guys. Yeah, next week I don't know who's up next week. Who's up next week? Well, we'll figure that out post-production meeting, I guess. And yeah, next week we will get back to it and probably do another topic that somebody else will choose and somebody else will host. So thank you for all those who did listen. I appreciate it. And thank you from all my co-stars. And this is the Warba Shop Quartet, and everybody else have a fantastic rest of your night. Thanks for listening.